Hey everyone, it's day 65 of the Bible in a year, and today we're going to be doing Leviticus, Mark and Psalms. In Leviticus 14 verse 13 it says, "He is to slaughter the lamb in the holy place where the sin offering and the burnt offering are slaughtered. Like the sin offering, the guilt offering belongs to the priest, it is most holy." And whenever we read of a male lamb without defect, I always think of Jesus because he is the Lamb of God. And here it says, "He's to slaughter the lamb in the holy place where the sin offering and the burnt offering are slaughtered." And when I read that, it made me think that, Jesus' sacrifice, if anything else, was holy. And Golgotha was holy ground that day because the ultimate sacrifice was being made for mankind. And it says, like the sin offering, the guilt offering belongs to the priest. It is most holy. And Jesus says that we are a kingdom of priests because we can intercede for people. And in Leviticus verse 13 it's saying that these offerings belong to the priest and they are most holy. And I think it's really important to remember that Jesus' sacrifice is offered to us and it is most holy. And I think if anything that's one thing to remember and to make sure that we don't take it for granted, because it is holy. Like, we have been given this holy gift, and nothing in this world is holy except for God. God's the only holy thing, and he's given us a holy sacrifice. And how dare we take that for granted? That's just such a precious gift. We've been given a holy gift. And often it says in the Old Testament, God says that some of the grain offerings and some sacrifices, they belong to the priest. And here we have it again. Like the sin offering, the guilt offering belongs to the priest, it is most holy. And Jesus' sacrifice belongs to us, and it is most holy. And that's really what I want to highlight in Leviticus today. And in Mark chapter 13, we've got Jesus talking about signs at the end of age. And I quite enjoyed reading this. There was a lot of things in it I found quite interesting, that maybe are worth thinking about. The first is in verse 3, where it says, "As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple, Peter, James, John and Andrew asked him privately, 'Tell us when will these things happen and what will be the sign that they are all about to be fulfilled?'" And I thought it was quite interesting how out of 12 disciples, only Peter, James, John and Andrew come back to ask him privately. I don't know, maybe that says something about our relationship with Jesus, and that maybe sometimes it is worth going back to Jesus and asking him privately what we want to, what's on our hearts. Because in this private place where, the four of them came back to Jesus and asked him, a simple question, like, he really just completely told them everything, and often what we find is that when the disciples ask Jesus something, that sometimes Jesus can be quite, short-answered, he can be a bit elusive with his answer, but here he's just speaking plainly. And I just think that, maybe it does say something about our relationship with him, and that it's always, worth going back to Jesus if we don't get an answer the first time, just to ask him privately, what's going to happen, or anything that's on our hearts, really. Another thing that was quite interesting was that, Jesus talks about, for practically the whole of this little bit, like, he talks in real elaborate language, like the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. And then he talks about sending his angels out and gathering the elect from the four winds, and it's all quite poetic and, heightened language about wars and all sorts of kinds of stuff like that. And then I just find it quite sweet and humbling that in verse 28 he just brings it back down, and he says, "Now learn this lesson from the fig tree." And it's just like, he's talking about, what I see as like creation, the seen and the unseen world, and then he's just like, learn this lesson from the fig tree. I don't know, I just thought it was quite sweet and quite humbling that something so simple as a fig tree can just tell us so much. And there's a verse in Proverbs that I love, and it says about how, we can look in creation and learn things about God, and I can't remember what it is, I wish I could, and I would tell you. But, I just think, it's good to look in creation and just learn things, about God. So for example, you've got flowers that take the source of food and energy and the way they grow, they all take it from the sun. And in the same way, you know, we need to take our food and our energy and the reason why we grow from the sun. You know, the flowers use the S-U-N, we use the S-O-N. That's just something small. But yeah, I just thought it was quite sweet that Jesus brings it back down to that. And that's about it, really. I didn't really get too much from today. And in fact, if anything, I had to really think about it. But, you know, that's fine. Some days, you know, you'll get loads and some days you won't. And that's just the way it is when you read the Bible. But that's not a reason to give up or to stop praying about it. So that's all I've got to say today. And yeah, I really hope that you're enjoying the Bible. And keep going with it, guys. You're doing great. Bye.